Hey Todd,
Going on, Matt?
how you doing, man?
Dude, good to meet you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I just noticed that I put it down as Matthew when I sent the Zoom. Does anybody call you Matthew? I looked, I was like, what the fuck? What? What?
You know, every time I hear the word Matthew, I always think I'm in trouble because it's
Full
it's my
name. You've done
right,
something
right.
wrong.
I know it's Matthew. Yeah, it's very sharp, right?
Yeah.
No, my mom. No, my mom calls me Matt. My stepmom calls me Matthew. No, she calls me Matt too. It's only my brother now. He's the only one that's left
Mm.
of the old crowd.
What's your is it older or younger?
Younger.
Oh, okay.
Younger.
How much younger is he than you?
He's like 2 years.
Okay. I got an older brother by about three and a half,
Kidding.
but that's it.
Are you two siblings, just the two of you,
Yeah, just
or
us. Yeah, it's just me and my bro. Yeah.
nice?
Same for you.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the best. That's the best setup.
yeah.
Do you have kids? I have two kids. I've got 14 and a 12-year-old. 15, just turned 15 and 12.
No kids yet.
No kids yet. Not that you know of.
Yeah, nothing yet. Not that I know of. Fingers crossed.
And dude, where do you live, man?
I'm in Van Nuys, like
Okay.
Valley,
Oh,
San
so you're
Fernando
just
Valley,
you're just down the coast a little bit.
just down the coast, a little walk away from you.
Yeah. And so does how long you been with Carbonwire?
Carbon wires. Oh man, I've been doing that since 2019.
Oh shit, so you guys are deep in that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you talk about like years active versus like years actually doing stuff,
Yeah.
and you throw in the whole pandemic thing, and you're
Well,
looking at,
that had to just fucking totally upturn the cart, right? Like what did you guys do for that time?
geez, we kind of just waited a
Yeah.
lot. There was a lot of writing in the back end, a lot of like writing going on at home. We're like, well, nothing else to do. Let's just hang out and write.
Yeah.
And, at least half of that time was actually recording the album. And then I don't think we got into live shows until about May of 2022. And then that was, we had like 6 months where we were playing, we released the album. And then there was another like 8 or 9 months off because our bass player was having some heart problems. So
Oh,
we had to find a solution. That's how we got Tanner in the band. And it's just been kind of on and off until about a year ago. We really
yeah.
started playing again.
Well, it's game on again because I was saying like, hey, why don't you jump on this day? And you're like, dude, actually, the single comes that kind of works out pretty good for us. So, what's the single called?
The single's called Shiver. Um, it's I don't think we've ever done anything this heavy
Oh,
before. Yeah, yeah. We were like a kind of a heavy rock meets a little bit softer metal kind of distorted guitars and high tempo drums, but a lot of it was very it was really grungy, very inspired by Nirvana and Pink Floyd and kind of stuff like that. And then I think during the pandemic we started listening to a bunch of Architects, and I think Polaris was one of them as well. A bunch of the newer, heavier bands, and kind of just got into the whole like, where's the heavy? Like, we wanted to get into like the heavy sort of movement of it because a lot of it was just kind of like, if you've ever seen Pink Floyd, I mean, I'm sure you have. It's like it's very spacey. There's not a lot of movement when you watch them. So we wanted to bring in a little bit of like movement and energy into the crowd, as well as having the sense of size. So
and so like in terms of like, how do I put this? Like bands you gave a shit about. Like, is this like the first, or are you like two, three, four in? Like, where are you on that timeline?
this is the first batch of 8 songs that are coming out. And a lot of them were done during the pandemic.
Okay, no. What I meant is like the band Carbonwire.
Oh yeah.
Where is it in terms of like, is it your first band that you're like, yeah, man, I'm going? Or
Yeah.
were you other serious bands along the way?
I mean,
Serious at the time, I suppose, right?
serious. Yeah, there was. Let me think.
Serious.
The Carbonwire was always the goal, I think, and the other bands were kind of thing to make Carbonwire as good as possible. I was in a cover band called Agent 18 for a while, and I was one of their singers. And it was always like a thing of like, okay, we're gonna make some money, we're gonna have some fun doing this. This was like a residency for musical, you know, talking about it in terms of med school. My dad's a doctor, right? So
Yeah.
um, it was always kind of a like a pathway to it, and there was always something
A
to
little
learn.
stepping stone to get to where you need to be.
I wouldn't even say a stepping stone. You know, it was always there was always like there was the main road that I was walking on, and there were other like little pathways that I've kind of walked along as I've gone up the carbon wire. There was a whether it was a full-time thing like carbon wire or like Agent 18, or I'm in this Metallica tribute band right now called Metallifornia. There's always something to like learn from these guys. I'm always taking stuff from these bands and like applying it. And then, when the time becomes where we need to divert resources and just kind of focus on the one thing, it's like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been great.
Excellent.
Every band I've been in has been like really great, really fun.
Cool. Um, well, let's touch on Metallica since you brought up. Great name by them. What is their best album, do you think?
Oh, they're best. Depends on whether or not I'm learning a song from that album. Um,
Yeah, truly.
I think that the one I always seem to come back to is "And Justice for All."
Oof. That's the
The
one that got me. That's the one that hooked me.
Really,
Yeah, I think so. I had a bunch of friends that
what
were,
was it about that one?
well, I think it was just the time changes and all like this, the syncopated beats and like just maybe some of the lyrical content as well. Like Dire Maker or Dire's Eve was a huge song for me. And it was one of those like I don't know if it's true or not, but it was said that they couldn't because it was so fucking fast and so amazing that Lars couldn't play it live. Of course, he's played it live since, but there was
Mhm.
that whole like, holy shit, like they could only do this in studio, and that was the allure of that one song, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think that like certainly Harvester of Sorrow is probably one of my top five for sure. Yeah, you might be onto something there. Because I was going to say initially, like Master, you can't get away from that.
Right, right. It's the God, is it the songs that get you or the mood?
No, I think it's both. I think it's probably the mood more than the songs, but I think the songs create the mood. But what's the
It's
best? You got your. I love that you. By the way, I love that you did get set up for this.
oh yeah.
Hit me with a couple riffs off of that record, and like, what were the ones for you that were like, fuck, I need to play that. I got to learn how to play this.
Off of Justice would be oh man, I mean, is the volume okay?
The volume's great.
Perfect. I think screwing that up.
dude.
That one did it for me like a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
If they just make it
uh,
look just so effortless. That's the thing with Metallica, right? Like they can just plow through riff after riff, and like everyone's just so good. And still today, even the stuff they release today is like most bands would die to have that material.
it's like you ever wonder like how they remember all that shit?
I know, dude. I
It's
don't know
like
how they remember it all.
it's one thing to like go into, it's one thing to like read it off of a tab or learn it from a songbook or whatever and like recreate it, but to write it,
Yeah.
like what would have been going through their heads
Who's better, do you think? Is
at the
it
time?
Kirk or James?
Oh, I think they're better at different things.
Yeah.
Um, I love James's right hand and Kirk's left hand work. His originality on the first four albums, especially the Ride, Master, and Justice, were just so like I've never heard anyone play like that before, come up with the ideas that he's come up with. And I
Hmm.
mean, just his creativity with the riffs. I think he's written all their best riffs. He wrote
Yeah.
Sandman, he wrote the Die riff and Creeping Death. He's done
Dude, he did that
Bacon.
die riff in Creeping Death at like 13 years old or some shit. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like, God. I mean, I think I've met him once before, and he was just such a he reminds me a lot like me in the sense that he's so into the music and he's so into guitar, and it's like flipping a switch. I was talking to him about this guitar actually,
Mm,
and as soon as I brought it up, he just like it flipped a switch in his brain. And it was like, oh yeah, and it was like the guys who were managing the meeting of all these people and himself had to like, okay, Kirk, all right, come on, like let's get to the next person. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like, I know, yeah, I'd love
That's so
to,
good.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so what were the bands that like I guess kind of got you down the path? Was it like when beyond Metallica, you get into like Sabbath and like
Oh,
what were the bands to first grab you?
I think the bands to grab me I mean, honestly, it was Metallica for a long time. I
Yeah,
live under a musical rock. I still listen to the same shit that I did
same.
20 years ago. Yep.
Yeah.
So, um, I think the first bands that people showed me were Pink Floyd was the second one after Metallica that I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And
Mm.
then it was Nirvana. Um, I discovered Devin Townsend through I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, he's a buddy. Yep.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, Discovered him through a friend that I had in high school and listened to him for a long time. And, through Metallica, I found Megadeth and I found Slayer and I found Anthrax. And they were like, those were bands that I liked. They didn't grab me in the same way that Metallica, Nirvana, and Pink Floyd did.
Sure. Would you say that Pantera did?
Pantera, not so much. They were more like these offshoot bands that I discovered. Where I was like, yeah, it's cool. It sounds like the same thing that I found in Metallica. It's just a different flavor of
Yeah.
that, and I like it. But am I going to listen to it more than Metallica? Does it hit me in the same way right here? No,
Yeah.
no. And I think that's just because I didn't discover them until later. But
Yeah. Okay.
you know,
Yeah. And what's your favorite riff off Pantera?
Pantera. Oh, it's Walk, of
Yeah.
course.
Hit,
Yeah,
hit us with some walk, man. I love
it's
I
Walk.
love that riff.
Um, the other one is oh, what's the verse riff in A New Level? I mean, that one's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, you posted something, you're like, this is the heaviest riff or whatever. And I was like, man, if this guy doesn't fucking do domination, like I'm gonna be all over him, right? Domination is such a rad song, right? Like
yeah.
so good.
So
Like just plug the amp in, turn it to 11 and just fucking kill yourself with the tunes.
yep. Grab
It's,
that E-power cord and
it's
chunk
just
away,
so
man.
good. Dude, I noticed because I went back and I flipped on the reason why, first off that you're even on the podcast now is, you know, I saw your stuff on Instagram and I'm like, yeah, this guy's fucking just got his shit together. Loves all the stuff that I like. You're showing exactly how you like, don't play it like this, play it like that. I thought it was a really interesting take. And I went back and looked and like, you haven't been doing it like that style for very long.
No.
It doesn't seem like it anyway. What got you down that path? Was it somebody that was like, dude, you need to do this? Like, you're such a fucking killer guitarist. Like, why don't you show people how to play? Was it somebody that did that, or was it just you like, maybe I'll try this out?
I have my friend Zoe to thank for that. I was always so not willing to get into the social media game because I was super judgmental and I was like, it's a time sink and like it's a all these
Yeah.
notions about it and like I just had the wrong idea about it and I worked at Guitar Center up until January
Mm.
of this year and they closed the location down and they were like, all right, you guys are going to be finding some new jobs right now. So I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? Um, I was like, well, I'll teach privately. So I started the social media thing really as a way to like find some clients. Yeah. And it kind of turned into a thing of like, well, maybe I'm not gonna turn it into like a client finding thing, more as like I want to help as many people as possible play guitar. And I can't do that with all the time that I have available to, so many hours in a day.
Mm.
Um, but what I did know how to do was learn songs the way they were written. Playing in tribute bands and play. I did a lot of school work at Musicians Institute, where they have a really big emphasis on playing it exactly as it was written, as a sign to show respect to
Mm.
the artist who recorded it. And I was like, well, okay, this is how you do this. And then every time I like, it was just kind of these tips, or not tips, but like I found myself learning or teaching the same songs at Guitar Center over and over again.
Mm.
And they'd all came in with the like ideas of how to play the songs. And I'm like, nope, it
You're like,
goes
that's
like this.
close,
It's
close,
close.
but
It
not
is.
really.
Doesn't go like this. It actually goes like this.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the first I think it was Unholy Confessions that I did where it's like Holy Unholy Confessions doesn't go like this, it actually goes like this. And it came from my own idea of how to play the song. I thought Holy Confessions might go like where he's palm muting the low D, but he's not. He's pulling off. There's a pedal tone in there, and that blew my mind. And I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like, people need to know about this.
Yeah.
So when I was making the video, I was kind of saying it to myself as like hey, Unholy Confessions doesn't go like this. Check this out. This is how it really goes. Um, and people lost their fucking minds over it.
Yeah.
It was like,
You're
okay,
like, oh, okay, hold up a sec here, light bulb, like
this
going
is
down
this
that
this
road.
is yeah, it's something, and it's hard to keep it real because it can easily turn into a thing where it's like I don't know, where it becomes packaged. It doesn't go like this. It actually goes like this, and then you start like making stuff up on how to play it,
Mm.
and it's just it and some of the videos are like, hey, this is how you do it. And then some of the videos are like, wait a minute, this is how everyone else plays it. This is how it actually goes. So, I don't know how it became this is how you really do it, but that's, I guess, what everyone talks about. They're like, oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And it's like, there's so much information out there that like the Metallica books aren't accurate. I don't know who wrote them.
Yeah.
Um, and I was looking on Songster for how to play a song because I wanted to do a video on it and I didn't know how to play it. And I went back and I was like, wait, this doesn't sound like right. And I went back and I listened to the slowed down audio of the guitar tracks on YouTube. And I was like, wait, no, Songster has this wrong too. So there was kind of like a thing to be like, I don't know if the whistleblower is the right word or like
Yeah.
just kind of the, hey, this is how you really do it kind of thing. And like, I'll make mistakes all the
Mm.
time. Like, hey, this is how you do it. And you go up a fret too high, and then some guy's just like, hey, by the way, it goes like this. And then a part of your ego is like, oh,
Which is kind
God.
of fun though, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're actually invested in seeing what you're doing, and like they almost want to see if they can call you out. Like, is Matt gonna fuck something up?
Yep, yep. And it's cool too because it becomes a teaching moment for all of us,
For
really, because I
both,
get to
sure.
learn something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get to learn something new, and they get to be like, hang on, wait a minute. It actually goes like this, and then they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. So really, it's we're all doing the same thing. I'm just the jerk in front of the camera with a
Yeah.
guitar with
Yeah.
the time to do it.
That's
So,
pretty good.
yeah.
Where do you put Eddie Van Halen in the mix of great guitarists?
Um, I gotta put a number on him.
You don't have to,
Oh man, I think
but he's up there. He's
he's oh my God, yeah, he's up there. I think the reason most people play the way they do today are because of Jimi Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen. Because I mean, I'll look at my like one of my favorite guitar players is Alex Skolnick from Testament, and he's just taken Al Di Meola licks with Yngwie and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eddie Van Halen, and he's got some jazz vocabulary in there as well. But it's they're all roots of Eddie and Jimmy.
mm,
So like if I mean in my very narrow opinion, just very narrow. I'm not the most well-read guitar history guy, but from what I can tell and listening to the music that I've done, is it all seems to come from those guys as much as those guys took especially Jimmy, as much as he took his influence from, Albert King and Robert Johnson and all of those guys who came before him. And it all seemed to start with a big core who influenced a couple more guys, and everyone started doing what those guys were doing, and then it turned into Eddie and Jimmy. And I don't think Eddie would have played. And this, just my opinion. I don't know if he would have played. I don't know if we would have had Eddie without Jimmy.
mm.
Jimmy was the first guy to do what we now know how to do on the guitar. I mean, nobody did what he was doing. And I don't even, Jimmy's not the kind of, guy that I'll like go out of my way to listen to, but it's like the Beatles. Like, gotta fucking respect what he was doing.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, I
one
saw
did.
something the other day and I was like, come on, man, fucking, you're so far out of line. They were talking about how Jimi Hendrix was probably the most overrated player. Like, what are you kidding me?
He
Like, what?
certainly, I could see that with like where guitar playing is today with guys like Henson
Sure.
out there and Ichika Nito, I think his name
But like,
is.
wow, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh my
Like,
God, yeah, all the Instagram guitar players, like, and you look at a guy like Hendrix and he's like, this guy's not that special. And then you remember, wait a minute, all these guys play because of what he did.
right.
It's the
In the
only reason.
60s.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep, yep, just whatever. I'm still a D. Whatever.
Yeah, I
Purple
got you.
Haze, all those licks on Purple Haze, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Monster. Yeah,
yeah.
the drumming, the everything about that band was so far ahead of its time. Like, yeah. What's one of your favorite riffs off Testament? I love that you cited Testament, by the way.
One of my favorite riffs off of Testament. Let me see if I can remember this. It's oh, what's the first song off of that New Order? Is it the New Order?
Mm, I'm not sure.
Oh, it might be Into the Pit. I can't remember how it goes right now. Into the Pit was yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if I played through it I can remember it, but
Yeah,
um oh yeah. Ah, yeah. So good.
yeah, so good. So, sometimes and I think you did a video on this where you're like, it's three, it's chunked in groups. If it's three, and then it's five, and it's three. It's sometimes you just need to do that, like learn it
Yeah.
slow, and then you get it fast to the point where it's album play.
It's like I teach this in my lessons all the time where, learning something like And Justice for All doesn't, or Into the Pit, or I think it was the Orion riff.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, something like that where it's really like weird and sideways feeling sometimes is best taken in chunks. It's like, well, I can remember a group of three. I
Sure.
can remember a group of five. That's easy. And then once I have the three in place and I have the five in place, well, I can remember a three going into a five, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I can remember that twice. Do that twice. It's like building a foundation from the brick up.
Yeah.
And
Could you imagine being in the room while they were recording those records and like watching them come up with the material? Like fucking mind
yeah,
blowing.
it would be like what we were talking about earlier. It's like what was going through their head when they wrote that because it's it's coming from somewhere else. The ideas for those transitions and everything, that's got to be coming from somewhere else. Like something's got to be speaking to them,
Yeah.
like whispering in their ear, "Hey, what about this? What about this?"
Yeah.
And they're just conduits for it.
Well, that's the 8 hours of playing in their bedroom, like growing up 13, 14, 15 year olds and like straight up just music nerds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're Van Nuys, have you been there a long time? Like, did you branch into the California bands like Tesla, Sacramento? I think they're from Sacramento. I think. You hear of
Not
those?
really. No, I've been I grew up in the Bay Area. I moved to Oregon for a year and I've been in Southern California since
Yeah,
the
okay.
last 10 years or so.
Yeah. So it's just heavier stuff for you then,
As far as what?
like rock bands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's I don't know what it is about the heavy shit, man, that just like
Well, it
it
just
just
grabs you.
gets yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's a musical recreation of how it can feel sometimes to grow up.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it.
There's the it's the there's the beauty in the grit, but there's also the grit as well. And there's especially I think with the Metallica, It's about it was the melody and it was the heaviness, it was the power, but there was also the aggression and the sadness and all of this giant cocktail of emotions that you get growing up. And it just, it hits you at the right time and you're like, this is me. This is it right here. This is what I want to listen to. Because I didn't know that existed before.
Mm,
And before it was like, I would just listen to whatever was on TV. I watched a lot of American Idol, so it was Carrie Underwood and Shania Twain.
sure, and like
Like
Daughtry and shit like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what did you think when or were you even listening at the time? What did you think when Jason left Metallica?
Oh, I didn't even know Jason. I knew none of that until I was well past all of it.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude, that blows my mind, man.
What did you think of it?
Oh, I was fucking shocked, gobsmacked, man. What? Jason's leaving?
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause he was a big guy.
just didn't comprehend. Oh yeah, huge part of, certainly up to that point, he was, it was Jason. But again, it was one of those like James didn't want him to go and do Voivod
I
side
don't, was
project
it?
anyway. I don't know if it was that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that he did some Void stuff with Voivod, but I think he wanted to do like a project on the
Echo
outside band.
Brain.
And James was like, no. And so he said basically like, well, fuck you then. I'm gonna leave the band. Cole's
Yeah.
Notes version of it, of course, but yeah, no, at the time, dude. I mean, it blew my mind that he was leaving the band.
It's got to be crazy that if you grow up with a band like that and it's almost part of it would be like for me it would probably be like seeing Kirk Hammett leave. You're like, what?
What? Like, who's gonna replace Kirk?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
That would almost cripple the band. Not
It
to
would.
not to take anything away from bass players, but like you take away your lead guitarist, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a harder search.
It's almost like Bonham.
Yeah, yeah. Boy, I wonder if Zeppelin would have been as big as they are today if they had it kept going or had it. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think they'd still be around? Do you think that they'd be a Rolling Stones? Would they be an Aerosmith?
I, I think I don't know. It wouldn't be the same.
They were definitely getting
Yeah.
interesting at the very end. Some of the music they were putting out and wasn't necessarily their best towards the end there.
Or like Pink Floyd when Roger left.
Right.
Whereas like you have a part of the band, part of the lifeblood of that band, that vessel just kind of leaves or
Yeah.
isn't there anymore.
What's some of Jimmy Page's best stuff?
Jimmy Page's best stuff. Oh man. Um I like oh shit. What's that song? You might know this.
Yeah.
I'm not playing that right, but is Since I've Been Loving You?
Uh, or is that I Can't Quit You?
One of the two.
I think it is I Can't Quit You. I think.
Either way.
Either
Either
way,
way.
yeah. Yeah.
Um his work on that, I really like his bluesy stuff. Obviously, Whole Lot of Love and like Black Dog. I don't know how he comes up with the stuff he does. He's another guy that's just like, dude, that man is a conduit for something that is not him.
Oh, for sure. I think if you were to talk to him, he'd be like, oh, yeah, no, something takes over.
Yeah, I think a lot of them. There's something about. There's this book that I read. Um, the Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe by I can't remember who it's by, but it's about this guy called Walter Russell, and he talks about how this creative process is something about a connection to a source, and it's all about like listening for the source, and the source will give you ideas if you're in tune with it, and all you have to do is just like get out of the way with the ego and step aside and let the source kind of speak through you, and then you just kind of do as it's commanded of you. And I can totally see that, because sometimes, I mean, there's just stuff that comes out where you're like, what the hell? Where did that come from? I mean, that doesn't sound like anything, right?
And you're just hoping at that point, first off, that you're recording it, but then also that you can play it again.
It's, yeah, really, I hope I can sing and play it at the same time.
Yeah, or that.
That's the big thing
That
nowadays.
well, that's I've talked to enough musicians, guitarists that are like, no, dude, you can't think of the guitar parts. You just fucking play that and you sing.
Hmm.
Can't think of both because then you'll just mess it up.
Yeah.
Right? Like how does
Yeah.
James do that shit? Rhythm guitar and then completely different vocals. How does he do that shit?
That is a good question. I know he's a drummer,
Hmm.
so it's probably like playing drums to him, where he's polyrhythmic, so he's just doing two
Yeah.
rhythms,
Patting his
probably
head, he's
more than
rubbing
that.
his stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just kind of two things existing at the same time. I don't know if
Crazy.
he's like synchronizing words to what his right hand is doing, or if he's doing the opposite, but I mean, I used to look at him playing battery and be like, how the fuck are you doing that, dude? It's insanity to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, when uh when are you gonna put out an album with Carbonwire? Like you're at the single.
Yeah. Well, the single's coming Friday.
Okay.
And yep, the album, oh my God, if I could put it out on Friday, I would, but A, it's not mixed yet, and
Mm.
B, it's the musical climate just doesn't seem to respond well to albums anymore. It's like
Well, it's pointless almost at this point.
yeah, because it's like it's the attention span of like people doing it is just like, no, I won't say attention span. It's like, all right, you got that. Like they get so bored so easily, and it's like technology where it's like if it's already out, it's old,
Sure.
and
It's
it's
the
like, all
news
right, this
cycle,
is
right? We're like, just
yeah,
what's next? What's next?
yep,
What's
yep.
next?
What's next? What's next? Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Keep it coming, and if we're drip feeding these next couple of songs, so it'll be I think we're doing like 6 weeks in between songs, so it'll be Shiver, and then it'll probably be either another kind of blind or the Mark of Cain after that. But it's gonna be every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about that, hey? Like, you're at the time now where, musicians need to almost be that videographer slash social media marketing expert. It's like, man, all that stuff takes away from what I want to do.
Yeah, it's like four full-time jobs,
Yeah.
because there's the booking, and then there's the you were talking the social media, and then you know the writing, the rehearsing, and then the shows. And I think there's something cool to learning how to do that properly, because it's probably going to make you a lot more discerning if you're, you know, there's a lot of guys on social media like, hey, let me do this for you, let me do this for you, and you can be discerning about like what you let into your circle almost, because you're like, well, I already know how to do this, and I like the way it's being done here. Do I really want to pay you to do it? I mean,
They're not going to do as good of a job anyway, truly. You know, if you know how to do something, you know your product better than anybody. Like I do,
Yeah,
believe me, man, I get so much of that shit from my podcast and how many guests and the live shows I do and everything else. Like, dude, I'm not paying you to do that shit. I already do it. Like, you're seeing it. You're coming, asking me to do my shit, charging me for the stuff I already do for free. Like,
for myself, exactly.
right? Like, no.
And and unless there's a situation where you're like, you know what, we're doing the best we can, but we know there's more to this than that, then like, please take this from me. We'll pay them. Like with this record, we're doing we're having Bird Berry mix and master this one, and I mean he's worked with Against the Sign, he's worked with Scarlet Silent, he's done Where It Lies, he's done like all these heavy SoCal bands, and he's an incredible he's incredible to work with. He's super easygoing, um, and he gets what the artist is going for. And he was a situation where he hit us up and he was like, "Hey, I like your stuff, and I was wondering if you want to do some work together."
Hmm.
And normally when I have these, when these guys approach the band, I'm really skeptical. I got all this crap going on in my head and all this judgment and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I was just talking with the guy, and I'm like, you know what? This could actually be kind of cool because he gets what we're going for. It's this, it has to sound super polished and pop, but heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's got to have this like larger than life kind of sound. And he was like, "Yeah, I can make that happen for you." We're like, "Okay, okay, let's see." So it was kind of funny. It was like a three-stage thing to working with him because first I asked him if he would do a live intro tape for us, and he came up with something. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." He just created it all by himself. He wrote everything in there. He did it all by himself. Um, and then he mixed our live show at the Whiskey that we did last year, and we've been using a lot of the audio from that as for content. And then we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the album with this guy. And it was just one of those cases where we're like, look, we don't know what we're doing with the mixing. It's clear by our last album that we don't know what we're doing with the mixing. So please take this off our hands. We'll make more money so that we can pay you and everything. And this is worth it. So,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. When you stumble upon something you can't do very well and you have somebody that's like an expert, yeah, you might want to take them up on that. Sure.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so hit us with what's the riff in Shiver?
Ooh. Let me, do I have my other? No, I don't. Okay. It's, which riff? Because there's three of them. The intro riff is this, it's kind of it's like a polyrhythmic thing. That kind of flips around, so like one, two, three, four, one, two, three, four. There's like little fills
Oh,
in there and
nice.
everything, and it goes up. And it goes into this Breaking Benjamin kind of. Chorus. just
Nice.
super bouncy, super rhythmic. I
Yeah,
love
dude,
it.
that's crusher. So how do you approach that now that you have the song? Like how do you approach radio? How do you approach like what's
Oh,
the game plan for all of that stuff?
I
Like, do
think
you have a big team around you? Like we need to do this, we need to push there, we need to go on a tour, we need to blah blah blah. Like
really the band is pushing for a tour right now. I'm afraid to go on tour right now because I can, what with all of the record expenses. I mean, it's like $1,000 a month right now to put these songs out. It's insane. Um,
whoa.
yeah, and I think once it's on the radar for sure, like tour. As far as radio, I think it's just a matter of. I mean, I really don't know. I think sending it to guys that you know who are in radio or like, hey, here's the song. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You know, I really don't know too much about that, to be honest.
I do.
Um, you do?
Dude, I worked in radio here in Vancouver for 15 years, man. I did the
No
afternoon show
kidding.
at the rock station for 12 and a half years.
You have a voice for radio. Now I know why.
Yeah, dude, I did 20 years of radio before podcasting. I'm 11 years podcasting now.
Oh
So
wow.
been podcasting or radio for 30 years, man. So if there's anything I can do in that regard, like after this, we don't know if I can
Yeah.
obviously need to get into that side of the industry. I mean, unless you want to. But I have no problem fucking jumping a Zoom or hanging out with you guys, on a call or whatever, and kind of just, giving you some pointers on that shit. Cause like, yeah, there's definitely certain things at radio. I don't know if it's the same in Canada and the States. I would think that it is though.
Hmm.
Uh, but there's certain things you need to kind of cross your T's, dot the I's before radio will even fucking look at you.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Like what?
Well, it has to be everything needs to be in place because it's like so you have a great song, you send it off to your buddies, but if you're not going to play their city, they're not going to play your song,
Interesting.
right? Like there's no story. Like what are we going to tell our listeners?
That makes
Great song,
sense.
man. Fucking great song, but like they're not playing. They're not playing the local fucking 200 club seater. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's for sure part of it. Unfortunately, and thankfully for you, you've got a great social media presence. That's a huge thing, man. Which bands kind of like to just fluff off and like, whatever, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude, like radio stations, labels, booking agents, all that shit, they all look at that stuff. They want to know, like, they want to know that first that you're self, reliant before they'll even take an interest in your band, which is weird.
I can
Shouldn't be
get
like that.
that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that, but it is.
It's almost like like if you're asking a girl out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, do you need me or like, you know,
Yeah,
I can get it. I
yeah,
can totally get it.
yeah. But yeah,
So,
there's definitely some intricacies of radio, but I think radio is still a really viable way to get your music out though.
okay.
But social media is the way. It's
Social media.
I think social media is the thing. Like what you're doing uh is more powerful than radio in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
I I guess
Like
I could see that.
you need to do your shit too, not just fucking Metallica and Testament and fucking Pantera and all those great bands. Like
Hmm.
rip into what you just played me and fucking post that video and see what people say.
Really?
Like here's the cool fucking riff off of Shiver. It's coming out on Friday. Like check it out.
Oh,
Influences of blah blah blah. Like why not tag your shit too? Like you're building enough of a following that there would be interest for your shit as well. There has to be, dude. Has to be.
framed like that, it's a really cool idea because I'd always thought of, you know, I don't like I try not to plug my own shit too much on that social media page. I mean, I'll post about it every once in a while, but if it becomes a conduit for my own stuff, it's like it's not why people followed me in the first place, but like you said, if it's just like a thing where it's like, hey, this is coming out on Friday, this is how you play the riff, enjoy.
Right.
It's a totally different context.
Totally. And also you could spin it another totally different way and be like, this riff of Testament kind of sounds like my riff. I didn't rip them off specifically, but like, check this out. You know what I mean? Like you could fuck around like that too, right?
Right.
I think that what you have going, Matt, is I guess in the long and the short of it is what you have going is fucking powerful, man. Like it
Thank you.
literally, as soon as the first video I saw, I followed immediately,
Oh,
and probably a couple of weeks in, was like, oh, maybe I should fuck around and see if we can get this guy on the podcast. And here we are 2 weeks later. Within a month of following you, I have you on my podcast.
I
Uh,
love that.
so do I, man. I think you got a really good thing on your page, and you just got to keep pressing. But don't forget about your shit, because you're a crusher, man. You're a fucking crusher too,
You're right, man.
right?
You're right. Yeah. It's yeah, there's the self-esteem comes up. It's like, oh, I'm plugging other people's shit. No one wants to see my shit.
Totally. It's easy when it's that, but like, yeah, people do want to see your shit, especially when it's that good. Uh,
Thank you.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time here, but I do want to get a little bit into like the early years of your life, and like what was your first concert?
First concert, oh, the first concert that I went to that I really liked, or just the first one, because the first one was
They're probably going to be different, but yeah.
I did a I think my dad took me to see an Elvis experience band where it was a band playing to live recordings, and I think they had I think the live from Aloha from Hawaii up on a
Mm,
screen behind him. And
yeah.
I was all psyched because I thought it was going to be real Elvis, right? Like I was 6, 7 years old, and I was so disappointed when I went there. Um, the first concert I went to was Metallica and Outside Lands 2013, 2012, 2013,
Mm,
and I was in the Snake Pit and I
nice.
touched Hetfield's guitar. Unbelievable.
Right?
There's
Yeah.
video of it too. If there's a video of them playing Sanitarium, and right before they're going into this, right before that last the Vegas ending, they have this there was a hold there, and Hetfield bends down to offer me his guitar. I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And he's like holding up his hand. Wait, wait, wait. And I got my hands on his guitar. I know exactly where to play because I know what's coming. And you can actually hear a clunk of it's my hand hitting the strings because he hadn't muted his guitar yet, right? Um, and I will have that memory with me. I hope I have that memory with me until the day I die because
You're
it's
never gonna forget that. Come on.
unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Dude, I did a world album premiere with those guys for the fuck, what album was that? What album was that? In probably 2009. What was that album?
Death Magnetic.
Death Magnetic. Flew down to their warehouse in San Rafael or wherever it was. Spent the whole day with the band. Saw two shows at the Fillmore, Friday and Saturday back to back nights. All access backstage shit. Fucking drinking their beers and all that. Took tons of videos and pictures and shit with a brand new camera. And on the flight home, I'm messing around with my camera, and it's like, do you want to edit this or whatever, or format this disc or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I guess, sure.
Oh no.
Format
No.
nothing.
Oh
Dude, I
no.
fucking like I was drumming on Lars's kit in their warehouse. Lars filming it.
No.
Yeah, don't have that. It's a
That's
like
like,
you, it's up here. So
yeah.
hopefully it'll always be there. But like,
And it's in here too.
yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy shit. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap this up, buddy. I told you I'd be
Yeah.
about maybe 15, 20, and we're at about 50 now. So
No worries.
monopolizing your time at this point.
No worries.
Um, and okay, so Carbonwire Shivers out this Friday,
This Friday, all streaming platforms, YouTube, music video, all that
and
shit.
we'll see some cool riffs from that song in your Instagram feed in the next day or two.
Absolutely.
All right, Matt. Good to meet you, buddy, and I'll tag you when we're chucking this shit around.
Great talking to you, Todd.
All right, man. Matt, go kill it.
Go kill it.
See you, buddy.